My friend demanded I pay for her expensive dinner because you have a good job, and I'm struggling. When I refused, she laughed, ordered the most expensive meal, and whispered, "You wouldn't dare make a scene." The waiter handed me the bill as I smiled, stood up, and said, "Then let's see how you like washing dishes." So this happened a few months ago in downtown Chicago. I was out for dinner with someone I used to consider one of my closest friends. Her name is Sophia. We went to college together, and for a long time, I thought she had my back the same way I had hers. I guess I was wrong. To give some background, I work in IT. Not some high-flying executive position, just a stable 9-to-5 with decent pay. I'm good at saving money and living below my means. Sophia, on the other hand, jumped around from job to job for years. She always had some story about why her boss was crazy, or how she was meant for something bigger, but never seemed to actually do anything about it. We hadn't hung out in person for a while, and one day she texts me out of the blue. "Hey girl, we should catch up. Let's go out this weekend." "My treat," I said, sure. It had been a stressful week, and honestly, I missed our old times together. I assumed we'd hit a mid-range place like we used to. Burgers, pasta, maybe a drink or two. Normal stuff. But Sophia had other plans. She suggested a fancy new place downtown that had been getting buzz on social media. One of those spots where the chairs don't match, the portions are tiny, and the drinks come in glassware you've never seen before. I looked at the menu online. Most dishes were upwards of $50, and that was just for entrees. I asked if she was sure about that place. She replied, "Come on, live a little. I'll cover it." Cool. I thought she had maybe landed a new job or got lucky somehow. So Saturday night comes around. I show up a bit early, get seated, and wait. She arrives late, but no big deal. She gives me a hug, full of energy, like we're still best friends. We order drinks. She immediately goes for a cocktail that's $24. I stick to a regular wine. The waiter comes back, and she doesn't hold back. Appetizer, lobster bisque. Entree, wagyu steak, market price, which was $120. Side, truffle mac and cheese. Drink, a whole bottle of French wine, nearly $200. Meanwhile, I ordered a pasta and a glass of house red. The whole night, she's acting like she's royalty. Snapping photos of everything, tagging the restaurant on Instagram, saying things like, "Finally eating like I deserve." At one point, she starts venting about how hard life's been. She tells me she's been unemployed for 4 months, can't pay rent, and has maxed out 2 credit cards. She also casually mentions her parents won't help her anymore because they're selfish. I nod along, listening, trying not to sound judgmental. I assumed she was still paying for dinner. She did say it was her treat, after all. Then the bill comes. The waiter places it neatly between us. I glance down and nearly choke on my water. Total, $428.84. Before tip. Sophia pushes the bill slightly toward me. I thought she was joking. Then she says, "Would you mind getting this? You have a good job and I'm struggling right now." She said it just like that. No shame. No warning. Just threw it out there like she was asking me to pass the salt. I stared at her for a good 5 seconds, trying to process what I just heard. I looked at the bill again. Then at her. She was smiling. Not awkwardly. Not nervously. But confidently. I said, "Sophia, this is a lot. I didn't plan for this." And that's when she leaned in, lowered her voice, and said, "You wouldn't dare make a scene here." Like she was daring me. I froze. My heart started racing. I felt hot. Angry. Embarrassed. Every eye in that dimly lit restaurant suddenly felt like it was on me. She leaned back in her seat, sipping her wine like she had just played a winning hand. She thought she had trapped me. And honestly, for a second, I considered just paying it to avoid the awkwardness. But then I thought, why the hell should I? This wasn't some emergency. She picked this place. She ordered the most expensive things. And now she was just expecting me to clean up her mess? Nah. I stood up slowly. My chair scraped the floor, loud enough for a few nearby tables to glance over. I took the bill, walked over to the waiter, and said loud enough to be heard, "Can we split this bill, please?" He looked confused for a second. Sophia's face dropped. She said, "What are you doing?" Her voice wasn't loud, but it had an edge. I smiled. Not a happy smile. The kind you give someone when you've had enough. "You ordered $300 worth of food and drinks. You pay for your part." She tried to protest. Said she didn't have money on her. Said she thought I would. Just handle it. I shrugged. "Then let's see how you like washing dishes." The waiter looked awkward but didn't say anything. I handed him my card, told him which items were mine, and stood there while he rang me up. Sophia sat frozen, her mouth slightly open, like she couldn't believe I was actually doing it. I paid my $45 and left a nice tip. Then I turned back to her, still seated there with the untouched bill in front of her, and said, "Good luck." And I walked out. I didn't answer any of her texts after that. The walk to my car felt like I was floating. Not from happiness, but from the rush of adrenaline. My hands were still shaking as I put the keys in the ignition. I sat there for a moment, engine off, trying to breathe. I wasn't sure if I felt proud or sick. Maybe both. I didn't think I'd hear from her again, but I was wrong. The next morning, I woke up to 8 texts and 2 missed calls from Sophia. All sent between 1 and 3 a.m. "You humiliated me. I had to call my cousin to come pay. That waiter treated me like trash. You made a scene. Everyone was watching. You're selfish and fake. I hope you enjoyed your little power trip." I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I wanted to see what would come next. Curiosity. Maybe stupidity. 2 days later, a mutual friend texted me. "Hey. I heard what happened at Marquenoir with Sophia. She's been telling everyone you ditched her with a $500 bill and embarrassed her on purpose." I asked what else she said. Apparently, Sophia told people I invited her out, guilt-tripped her into ordering big, and then flipped. When the bill came, she said I set her up to make her look bad. I was stunned. The lies weren't just creative, they were calculated. She was twisting the whole thing into some weird betrayal story where I was the villain. I realized then that she wasn't just selfish, she was dangerous. The kind of person who would burn your house down and then ask you why you lit the match. More texts trickled in that week from other friends. Some believed her. Some asked me for my side. A couple were clearly uncomfortable even texting me. One said, "I'm not taking sides, but this sounds messy. Maybe you guys just need space." No. We didn't need space. I needed her out of my life. But here's where it gets even messier. The following weekend, I went out with coworkers to a local bar. Small spot, nothing fancy. I'm sitting at the end of the bar, sipping a beer, when I hear someone loudly say my name behind me. It's Sophia. She's got 2 girls with her I don't recognize, and she walks right up to me like we're old friends. Big fake smile. Wow, if it isn't the queen of betrayal herself. I just blink at her. Then she turns to the girls and says, "This is the one I told you about. The one who set me up, left me with a bill, then ghosted me like some coward." I said nothing. I just looked at her. She kept going. Loud enough for the people nearby to hear. "Can't even apologize. That's how heartless she is. Always thought she was better than everyone. She can rot in her little tech cubicle for all I care." The bartender asked if everything was all right. I told him I was fine, paid my tab, and left. But that wasn't the end. I got home and checked my Instagram. She had posted a long story tagging me, with pictures of the food from that night and a caption like, "Reminder that not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Some people are snakes in heels." That post got shared by at least 3 people we both knew. I felt sick. I didn't want to fight online. I didn't want to lower myself to her level. But the damage was spreading. Then came the job hit. My manager called me into a meeting. He looked uncomfortable. Said someone had emailed the company about me, no name, just an anonymous tip, accusing me of scamming a vulnerable friend and showing concerning behavior toward female coworkers. It didn't stick. There was no evidence. HR dismissed it after one meeting. But I knew exactly who sent it. Sophia had crossed the line. She wasn't just trying to ruin my friendships. She was coming for my livelihood. And that's when I knew I couldn't just ignore her anymore. She wanted to play games? Fine. I could play too. But not the way she expected. I started gathering every screenshot, every message, every comment. I wrote down the timeline. I contacted the waiter from that night. Yes, I went back and asked to speak to him. He remembered her. Remembered how she tried to fake cry when the manager came out to ask how she was going to pay. Said she claimed her friend ditched her after promising to cover everything. She lied even then. The manager even noted it on the incident report. I asked if I could get a copy. He said he'd check. I didn't know what I'd do with it yet. But I wanted to be ready. And then, like some twisted gift from the universe, the real twist came. I got a call from a blocked number. It was Sophia's mother. She said, "I know we've never met, but I need to talk to you. It's about my daughter." I was silent for a moment. I didn't even know Sophia's mom had my number. She introduced herself again, her voice calm but tired, like she'd been crying or hadn't slept. She said she got my number from a mutual friend after hearing about some incident. Then she asked, "Has Sophia told you anything about her situation lately? I mean, really told you?" I said carefully, "I know she hasn't been working. She told me she was struggling." Her mom sighed. There was a long pause before she said, "She's been lying. Not just to you. To everyone. Me, her dad, her friends. It's bad." Apparently, Sophia had been doing this kind of thing for months. Not just with me. There were others. Friends she'd reconnected with randomly, acted sweet toward, then guilt-tripped or manipulated into covering bills. In one case, she convinced an old roommate to co-sign a loan for a fake business idea, then ghosted her after cashing out the funds. The girl had to hire a lawyer. "She's not well," her mother said. "She's been seeing a therapist off and on, but she stops when they ask her real questions. Her father and we tried. But she cut us off when we stopped sending money." I didn't know what to say. I'd never seen that side of Sophia. She was reckless and dramatic, sure, but not calculated. "She says you're out to ruin her," her mom added. "That you humiliated her on purpose. That you're obsessed with her." That last part hit hard. Her mom didn't sound angry, though. She sounded worried. Not just about what Sophia had done, but what she might do next. I hung up the phone an hour later feeling like someone had poured cold water over my brain. I sat there, piecing things together. All the little red flags from over the years. The stories she told that didn't add up. The way people slowly stopped being around her. It was like I'd finally seen the full picture. But just when I thought it had reached its peak, another twist came. That night, I got an email from a reporter. The subject line read, "Following up on viral TikTok story, request for comment." TikTok? I clicked the link they included. And there it was. A video of Sophia, sitting in her car, crying dramatically to the camera. The caption read, "POV, when your so-called best friend humiliates you at dinner because you're broke and then tells you to wash dishes in front of everyone #toxicfriend #betrayed #Chicago." It had over 700,000 views. The comments were a nightmare. "She needs better friends. This is why I only trust myself. Who TF tells someone to wash dishes in public like a psychopath? Tag her. We'll drag her together." I felt like the floor was gone. The worst part? She didn't say my name in the video, but some internet detective had already figured it out from her older posts and started dropping my info in the comments. My name, my job, my LinkedIn, even a photo of me from an old work event. That's when I knew I had to make a decision. It was no longer about just one dinner. This was character assassination. Public humiliation on a scale I never imagined. She wasn't spiraling. She was pulling people into the whirlpool with her. I wasn't about to start a petty online war. But I wasn't going to let her ruin neither. So I contacted the restaurant again. Got the manager to email me that incident report from the night she tried to dine and dash. Got the receipt, too, clearly showing the bill was split, and what I paid. I wrote a short, calm, factual post and uploaded it to a private Facebook group for women in the city, about being manipulated, pressured to pay, and publicly shamed for standing up for myself. Within hours, my post was flooded with comments. Not all were on my side, but a surprising number were. And a few people came forward with their own stories about Sophia. One woman said she went on 2 Tinder dates with her, and Sophia cried during both, claiming she was homeless and needed help. Another said Sophia borrowed $300 to fix her car, then blocked her the next day. Someone else dropped a bomb. They had gone to high school with Sophia, and said she was expelled senior year for forging a teacher's signature to change her grades. The comments section turned into a timeline of broken relationships and lies. Every piece of the puzzle snapped into place. And still, I didn't post publicly. I didn't threaten her. I didn't clap back. But I documented everything. Every message. Every comment. Every interaction. Because at this point, I wasn't just protecting my peace. I was preparing for whatever she might try next. And sure enough, the next morning, I found out she had filed a harassment complaint against me. Not at work. With the police. The email came first. From a city email address. It was short, formal. You have been named in a report related to an interpersonal dispute. We are requesting you come in to provide your account of events. I sat there staring at it, heart pounding. Sophia had gone to the police. Not for fraud. Not for stalking. But for harassment and public defamation. She claimed that I coordinated a smear campaign against her, exposed private financial records, and was causing emotional distress. I laughed out loud. Not because it was funny, but because it was so absolutely ridiculous. I hadn't even posted anything public. I hadn't tagged her. I hadn't said her name. I called the number listed in the email and explained everything. They asked me to come in for a formal statement, which I did. I brought the email from the restaurant, the receipts, the screenshots of her video and all the comments tagging me, and the emails she sent to my work. I even included my conversation with her mom. The officer was professional, but his eyebrows went up more than once. He said, "You've got a strong case here. If you wanted to countersue, you probably could." I left the station feeling drained, but clear. I had nothing to hide. I didn't attack her. I defended myself. A week later, I got a call saying the report was closed. No further action will be taken. Apparently, once they saw the documentation, they didn't even need to question Sophia. But I wasn't done. She wanted a scene. She wanted attention. Fine. I sent a message to the same reporter who had emailed me earlier. Told them I had evidence that the viral TikTok story was false and being used to manipulate people online. I shared the receipts, the messages, and links to the posts from others Sophia had scammed. They wrote a full article. Headline: Viral dinner betrayal story turns out to be elaborate manipulation scheme. Multiple victims speak out. It went up on a Tuesday. Within hours it spread. The comments on her TikTok flipped. People started calling her out, demanding answers. She turned off comments. Then she deleted the video. Then her account. But it didn't stop there. The article got picked up by a local news station for a segment on online lies and how social media influencers twist stories to gain sympathy. They blurred her name, but people already knew. I didn't even have to say a word. People who had sided with her started reaching out to me to apologize. Friends who had ghosted me messaged me saying they had no idea what she was really like. Some asked how they could help. I didn't answer most of them, because I had already lost something in all this. My peace. My trust. My patience. I learned the hard way that even long friendships can hide ugly truths. That people will believe the first person to speak, especially if they cry while doing it. Sophia didn't just disappear. No. She tried again, posting on a backup account, saying she was being silenced and bullied. But no one listened this time. The comments were brutal. Screenshots of her old lies were everywhere. A week after the article dropped, I got a call from her number. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. Her voice was shaky. No more confidence. No more control. I messed up. I didn't think you'd go that far. I just felt cornered. Everyone left me. You don't know what it's like to feel like nothing. I never meant to hurt you like that. I deleted it. I don't care if she meant to hurt me or not. She did. She dragged my name, my job, and my life through mud for likes. She used people's kindness like currency and spat in their faces when they stopped giving. So no. I didn't forgive her. I just moved on. But before I did, I made sure she couldn't do this again. I helped one of the girls she scammed, remember the one she tricked into co-signing a loan, file a formal fraud claim. I wrote a sworn statement. Gave everything I had. I heard Sophia's bank account got frozen. I heard she lost her apartment. I heard she moved back in with her parents. The same parents she called selfish. I don't know if she'll ever change. That's not my problem anymore. But if anyone tries to twist that story and ask if I went too far, I'll say this: she handed me the matches. She poured the gasoline. She locked the door from the outside. And when the fire got hot, she screamed that I lit it. So yeah? Let her wash dishes. Or let her lie in the bed she made. Either way, I'm done cleaning up her mess.